Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is Barbara Reed, the Wexford Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the U.S. in Pennsylvania. And tonight I'm coming to you to show you some projects that I put together using the Peaceful Poppies Suite. And that can be found in your new mini catalog from Stampin' Up! And it starts on page 24, and it shows you some really adorable samples there. And then here shows you all the different products that make up the suite. Okay. Of course, we have the gorgeous designer series paper. We'll be using some of that this evening. And there are actually 2 different bundles in this set, which is pretty cool. And the first bundle is the Painted Poppies bundle. And that's this one here. This one has all your gorgeous pencil line flower images that you can use and color in with your blends. And hi, Renee. Happy Tuesday. And what's also so cool about it is it has these fabulous dies, and I'm going to be using some of these for the card and the project I'm making. It has these lovely labels that you can use for cards. And here's a real cute little label we're going to be using on our explosion box. I love that. And then it has all the dies to cut out the flower images here. So this is a really great set. But not only do you get that one, you get this is another that's in the suite called Peaceful Moments. And this is a great one because it has such a variety of sentiments for all kinds of occasions that you might need them. And then finally, I think one of my favorite parts of this is this second set of dies. And this allows you to make a lot of die cut images. And I'm going to show you those on my first project in particular. So you don't have to do a lot of stamping if you're feeling like making a card, but you don't want to do a lot of stamping. This bundle allows you to do a lot with die cuts, just using cardstock and cutting it. So that is another great plus to this. So there's so much to offer in this set. And I'm so excited to show you some of the projects. So let me show some that we had used in some of my classes. We had our birthday Stamp-A-Stack this weekend, and here was a card that we made for that. And this shows off some of the paper. And it also shows off here the die cut. We're actually going to be using this exact same flower die cut tonight for our card. And here it shows how you can cut out portions of the cardstock just for a little bit of interest. And this is a stamp from the second set that has the sentiments. So this is one we used this weekend for the Stamp-A-Stack. And then here are just some others. This one is just really shows off the gorgeous paper. And I love this little die cut, so cute, like a swirl. And then this also shows the beautiful seam binding. So it's just amazing. This one, I did not use a die cut. I used the stamp, and then I colored using my blend. So that's really, that gives you 2 ways to make your cards. So, and to decorate with flowers. And sometimes all you really need is the paper. Look at the paper. I just cut a piece of paper the exact size of the card front, and then I used a label on the front there. Isn't that gorgeous? The paper just makes the card. That's what's so nice about this suite. The paper is so gorgeous. And all right, I'll show you one more here. This is a double Z card, Z fold card that I made. Now see, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's using just the die cuts. I really love that. And the paper. And then it can stand up perfectly like that. And it's a little thank you card. It's a Z fold. See the double Z right there? You got the card base and then this inside panel. And we call that a double Z fold. So maybe I'll make one of those for one of our Facebook Lives. But those are just some of the examples that I made with this set. And now tonight we're going to make some cards that have a bit of a unique design. And here I want to show them to you. And here's one. This is a little thank you card I made. And here I made one is a sympathy card. Very pretty. And then here's one I made using the sentiments from the same set. And could be this could be a thinking of you. You could put happy birthday in that. But if you notice, I didn't really use cardstock for the card. I actually used, for the base of the card, I used a piece of the designer series paper. And then I just put in the white panel there. So I'm going to show you how I did that today. And this is a quick and easy card. And you can kind of use this design with any of the designer series paper that you have. It's a quick way to use up all that extra paper you might have. And the paper's so beautiful that it makes such a lovely card that even the back of the card is decorated. So it's really a neat, unique design. And I'm sure your recipient would love it. How are you doing there, Renee? Are you enjoying the warm weather? I think it's coming to an end really fast. So I'm trying to enjoy it. It was a little cloudy today, but it was still pretty warm. All right, let's get started. We're gonna bring in my scoring board. And I'm gonna take a panel of my designer series paper. And this piece of designer series paper is cut at 11 by 4 1/4. And that is the exact same size that you would cut a regular piece of cardstock to make a card. Okay, there's 2 ways you can cut the paper. This is the long way, so you'd have you could make 2 panels out of your cardstock. So we cut the paper just like we would the cardstock, but we're using the designer series paper. All right, so I'm gonna bring it up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and score at 5 1/2, because that is the center. And then I'm gonna score at 10. And that's it. That's all the scoring we need to do for this card. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to fold the card in half. And then that last inch there, I'm gonna fold that back. Hi, Diane, how are you? Thanks for joining us. And that is gonna be just a little panel there that is going to kind of separate the front from the inside of the card. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take some glue and I'm gonna put a little bit on this inch-long panel here on the end and then just fold it back and hold it for a minute. Okay, so then I'm gonna open it all the way up and I'm gonna take a 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel of Whisper White, whoops, and that's gonna be my inside. And I will be putting on a sentiment on there very shortly. But now that's the inside of your card. Okay, and then we're gonna fold it closed. And here's the outside of your card. So there you have your card base using the designer series paper. I just love doing that. That's such a great idea. Now I'm gonna bring in some of the die cuts that I've cut using the die cuts that come with the suite. Okay. This is that little circular die cut. I love that. I think that's just adorable. This is cut in garden green. And then I'm going to put this right on top of there. I'm going to go ahead and get my glue. Well, actually, why don't I go ahead? You know what it is. If you glue it first, you're going to muff it up. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp first. I'm going to take one of the sentiments from the set, from the bundle, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp it kind of to the right side of the label there, a little bit to the right. Okay, now since I'm safe and I've got it glued, I've got it stamped that I like it, I'm going to go ahead and glue it right down to that circle. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and use these last few pieces of die cuts here to make my poppies. So this is a piece that I cut and it is Flirty Flamingo. Then I took another one of the die cuts that fits directly over that. Isn't that cool? And this is Poppy Parade. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that right down to the center. And I'm going to take my little middle, which I don't know what it's called. The technical term, I'm thinking stamen, but it's been many, many years since biology class. So there's my flower. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then I have these two pieces here that I cut. This one is cut in Old Olive, and this one is cut in Mossy Meadow. And I love how they have these little die pieces that you kind of layer together to make your leaf. I'm going to set that down very carefully. I just love how that turns out and how that looks to make your leaf that way. Isn't that cool? All right, now all we need to do is go ahead and put everything on our card. That's how easy this one is. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this to the front of my card, just using a little bit of glue. These cards, you could pump out a bunch of these really, really fast. Okay, just have a whole bunch, a whole pile of your die cuts ready to go, and you can make bunches of these. Hi, Jody. Happy Tuesday. All right, now we're going to take my flower, and before I adhere it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue the flower. How did I do that with the last one? I want to see. I'm checking my... Okay, yes, it came out the bottom. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little glue on the stem of my flower. Then I'm going to just lay this on top like that. Okay, and now that's all together. Going to turn that over. Going to pull out some of my dimensionals. And let's pump this up on the front of our card. I'm going to put that right there. Oops, a little bit of glue there. What do you think? Pretty easy, pretty quick, really pretty. I love the colors. So it says, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. And then what I'm going to go ahead and stamp on the inside is my happy birthday. And this comes with the suite as well. I love the script of this. So cute. So there. So that is just another example of my Designer Series paper cards that have used those as a base. Aren't those quick and easy and fun? I love them. All right, so now let's move on to my 3D project. I have lots of friends and lots of team members that were very excited to see this one. So I will show you. I have 3 of them made here, and we've made these before in class, but nothing quite this small. Now I've made them using the Poppy Parade, the Poppy Suite, and we use the paper as well. This one I used with a pool party base, and we're gonna go ahead and make the same one here like that. And these I made with rich raspberry. Okay, so what you do is you're gonna pull off the lid, and it explodes. That's why it's called an explosion box. And then you have a little truffle inside. Okay. And it's not that hard to make. It looks like it's very involved, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard. And I'll try my best to give you the directions really, really well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, now remember, I will have all the instructions and all the dimensions on my blog, and as well as this video I'll put on my blog as well. So don't worry about taking down any dimensions or anything. We'll take care of that later. All right, the first thing, there's actually 3 parts to this box, and these are the 3 pieces that we're going to use. So we're actually going to construct 3 different things, and then we're going to put them together. Okay, the first thing, this large one, this is the lid of the box. This is used for the lid, and that is 7 5/8 by 7 5/8. Okay, this section here is the explosion part. When you open the box, okay, it's this part that goes open like that. Okay, that is made out of this piece. And this piece is 4.5 by 4.5 inches. Okay, now if you look very closely inside my box, you'll see this little platform or little, I don't know what to call it, little base. And it's almost like a lid turned upside down in the center of the box. And that kind of holds my little truffle in place. And that's what we're going to use this smaller piece to make. Let's call that the insert. And that is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So those are the 3 pieces. Lid, base, insert. All right. I think I'm going to start with the base first. All right. So let's move all these things over to the side. Okay. Now remembering that this piece is 4.5 by 4.5. And I'm excited about this because we're going to be making these with my team next Monday, and they're going to be really excited about making them. So they're really quick, really fun, and my group really likes the 3-dimensional projects. So I'm excited. All right, back to work here. All right, we're going to take the 4.5 size piece, and I'm going to score it at 1.5 on all 4 sides. So I'm just going to spin it to each side. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Okay? So it looks kind of like a little tic-tac-toe board. Can you see that? Let me move it up a little bit. It's a tic-tac-toe. Oh, there. Tic-tac-toe board. All right? Now, before we do any cutting, I'm going to take my ruler and my scoring tool, and I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to put it right at the intersection of those 2 lines there. And I'm going to lay my ruler down, and now I'm going to score a line from that intersection to the outside corner. Let me see if I can get you to see that. Yeah, there. Okay, so I scored it right from the place where they intersect on the tic-tac-toe board straight out to the corner. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. So I'm going to start there, right out to the corner. Spin it around, put my scoring tool at the intersection. Then I'm going to go ahead and score right to the corner. Okay. Hi, Jean. Come and join us. We're getting ready to make an explosion box. All right, and then I'm going to take it to the corner. All right, so now I have those 4 lines. I wish I could figure out how to show it to you a little better. Maybe you can see it there. Okay, diagonals going out toward the corners. Okay, now, before I construct it, I'm going to have to do a little bit of cutting. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut off the corner. So you're going to go from where the line intersects the edge and where it intersects the edge there, and you're going to go ahead and cut across. Okay, so I cut from that line there to the line there where it touches the outside. I'm going to do the same thing here. Please let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, I love them too. We're going to make them next week with my team, and I am excited. I've made them much, much bigger than this, but this little adorable one, I just had to give a try. And then the final one is that. So you're going to be left with a, okay, girls, octagon. How about that? I got it. An octagon. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and fold up all the pieces of our octagon. And then I'm going to fold in those extra score lines we made and pinch them a little bit. There's that extra score line I made. I'm going to pinch that in all the way around. There's 4 of those. This is starting to look like the sample. Okay, so there is the base. Okay, now before we move on, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the designer series paper pieces. And those are right here. Okay, and we're going to put one of these on each of the outside panels there. Let me look at my notes here. And the size are these are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. You don't have to put these on, but I really think they look cute when the box flops open to have a little bit of color on the side. And I love designer series paper, so it doesn't take much for me to want to add some wherever I can. And I'm just going to put that right in the center of the box, of the square, sorry. Move it over a little bit. There we go. I'm going to take this one, and you can have the lines running whichever way you like. I kind of like it running this way. That goes right there. And this is paper. This is just the back side of the poppy paper. There's some really nice little stripes and solids on the back of those gorgeous flowered pieces. And finally, and there we are, we're done piece number 1. This is the base. Okay, does anybody have questions on how we made our base this evening? Pretty easy. Here, I'll show you the base here. Okay, now of course this base has the little insert in the center, but you can see where we're going here. Okay, looks very similar. All right, now we're going to make that tiny little insert in there. And it's really just like making a tiny little box lid. So let me go ahead and I'm going to get my smallest piece of paper out. This one is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Teeny tiny. And I'm going to go ahead and going to score this paper at 3/8. That's 3 little notches from the end, and 3/4, and turn it and do the same thing again all the way around. 3/8, 3/4, 3/8, 3/4, and last but not least, 3/8, 3/4. Okay, so now we have our score lines ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do the cutting before I do the creasing. All right, so let me see if I can hold it so you can kind of see the lines if I hold it that way. We've got like a double lines. It's kind of like a double tic-tac-toe board. Okay, the reason it's like that is because we're making a reinforced box lid. And you're going to see why we have to do that, just so it is stronger when we put it together. All right, so you can start on any side you wish because they're all the same size. You're going to go in 2 of the horizontal score lines. I'm sorry, 2 of the vertical score lines in. You're going to cut up through the first to the second horizontal score line. And then you're going to move over to the outer one and do the same thing. Okay? Now you're going to cut off this outside piece. You're going to cut off this small little notch. And then you're going to kind of cut little pieces out of that tab so it makes it a little easier to put together. And now you're going to do that same thing on this side. All the way up to the second horizontal. All the way up to the second horizontal. We're going to turn it to the side. Cut that whole outer piece off, then cut the smaller tab, then make the nice notched tab ready to go. Everybody see how I did that? We're going to just turn the paper around and do it again because it was so much fun the first time, right, gals? All right, here we go. Up to the second, up to the second. Everybody following me now? All right, one more time. Start on the inside, up to the second horizontal. We're going to cut this one totally off. We're going to cut off this little piece here. And then I'm going to make my little notched ends there. Okay, now I'm going to go around on the outside and make sure these are a little notched as well. Because these are going to fold inside the box. And if we're not careful, the paper can get kind of jammed up in the corners and not make a nice box. So I went ahead and I took a little bit off, wedged those so they're not going to be straight up against all the other paper in the corner. So that's it. Now think about this and remember this design because that's the same exact design we're going to use for the lid of the box. All right, now there's no paper to put on this. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my bone folder and I'm going to go ahead and crease on all these score lines. There's the little tiny, there we go, those little tiny tabs. This is a tiny, tiny box. That's really what it is. You're just putting together like a lid or the bottom of a box, but this box is going to have reinforced sides. So they're going to be a little bit stronger so that when you put the candy inside, it'll stay together a little better. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it upside down so that the outside of the box is showing. And I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on each of these tiny little tabs. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to fold the tab down and behind the other panel. So I'm lining up the fold with the side of the panel, just like we always do when we make boxes. Okay, going to hold that for a bit and then I'm going to move over to this one here. Fold it and put it behind the other panel and pinch it. Gotta love this Tombow, gals. It's good stuff. I know some of you like to use the dry, and that would be great to use the tear and tape with this. Yep, I know. I'm a big fan, believe it or not, of making small things. I'm about as big as they come, but I like to make small things, and I appreciate the hard work that people do making miniature things. I love doll houses, all those kind of things too, Jean. All right, now we've got all the tabs sticking. Now we're going to go ahead and put some Tombow on these panels, and then we're going to fold them all inside. Okay, just a light bit of Tombow. Don't need a lot. Then I'm just going to go ahead and fold the panels down and into the box. Down and in. Get them all down in there so I can squish them. And they kind of help keep each other down while they're drying, so that's a big help too. All right. I'm just going to pinch the sides until they're nicely. And what I have used sometimes, you can use clips to hold them down while they're drying if you want to. So you can kind of work on something else. But if you hold it long enough, they're going to stay put. So there is my little insert that goes into my box. Isn't that so cute? All right, let's bring back my base. And all you got to do is put a little bit of glue on the center of your base, and you just line him up and stick him right in the middle. You want to try and have about the same amount of space all the way around, so that when it closes up, your candy will be right in the middle. All right, so there's number 2. We're finished with 2 parts. All right, here comes the final part is our lid. Okay, let's bring back our scoring board one more time. Remember, this piece is, let me check my notes here, 7 5/8 by 7 5/8. All right. Now, we're supposed to be scoring this at 1 1/2 and 3. Now, because it's a lid, you're going to have to, some people use a shim to bring it away from the side of the, I don't know what's making it rock. Hold on. There we go. But I just kind of move it away from the side of the, and it makes it a little tiny bit bigger so that when you put the lid on, it fits snugly, but not too snugly. So we're going to start here, and what I'm going to do, if you just watch here on the paper, I'm going to move it over just a tad, and then I'm going to go ahead and score at 1 1/2 and 3. Okay, I'm going to turn it. I'm going to do the same thing. Pull it away from the side just a tad, like the width of a piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to do 1 1/2 and 3. Okay, same thing again. All 4 sides, same thing. You're going to pull it away a little bit. 1 1/2, 3. Last one, pull it away. 1 1/2, 3. And you'll see how this works when we put the lid down on the box. It's going to give it just a little bit of wiggle room so that it'll be nice and tight, but it won't be jamming the box on, that it'll be too hard to open and close. All right, so we're going to do something very similar as we did with the small little insert. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to move into the second vertical score line. We're going to cut up to the second horizontal score line, and the same thing. Okay, is this looking familiar? We're doing kind of the same thing as we did before. We're going to cut that piece out, cut that off, and then I'm going to wedge that a bit. Okay, that's just like we did with the base. I'm sorry I have that too close to the camera. And I'm even going to cut a little more off like that. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, I'm going to start here, cut up to the second horizontal, move over here, cut up to the second horizontal, turn the paper, cut that slice off, cut the bottom of this off so we can turn this into a tab. These are going to slide behind the box panel, and then the outside panel is going to come down over the whole thing. All right, does that look familiar? Just like we had before with the lid. Let me cut this one a little bit better. There we go. All right, now I'm going to turn it the other way. Same thing again. I'm going to cut it all the way up, okay, to the second horizontal. This gets cut off. This gets made into a tab. See, we're doing this again because it's going to give us that reinforced box lid, because we need it reinforced because it's going to be on and off, on and off. Everybody's going to want to show off their explosion box. All right, last cut here, gals. All right, cut that off. And that, I can't believe I haven't made a mistake this evening, and I probably shouldn't have said that because now I probably will. And I'm going to just cut these off a little bit so they're easier to maneuver inside the box. All right, so there we are. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these panels off a little bit too. These are the outside ones, the inside ones that are going to fold over once we get it put together. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get my bone folder. And let's fold on all our score lines. So the box is going to come together a lot like our little insert did. Okay. Let's get this one here. And I'm going to use my Tombow to put it together. But of course you can use the dry adhesive if you like that better. Okay, here we go. Let's turn it so we can see the back side of the box. I'm going to take my Tombow again, and I'm going to come down on all 4 of these tabs. Looking very familiar, huh? I'm going to fold that behind and fold that behind and hold those two carefully. I'm going to make sure I'm in the frame here and not doing too crazy. Just holding those together. Same thing on the other side. Fold those in and pinch those closed. Now we have our 4 flaps on top. Sorry, I have it real close vision there for you, huh? Okay, now we have our 4 flaps, and we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of Tombow to those 4 flaps, and they are going to go right down into the box. This box is going to be so nice and reinforced and heavy that you won't have to worry about your grandchild ripping it or tearing into it. Yep, the reinforcement really helps because it makes the box stay together, because you know that if you give them an explosion box, they're going to want to show it off. So you got to make sure that you're reinforcing those. So there's our lid. Okay, now let's go ahead and put on our pieces of designer series paper. Now you could have put these on and I have in the past put them on before I put the box together. But I forgot to do that today. But let me talk about the sizes here. The top panel is 1.5 by 1.5, and then the 4 side panels are 1.5 by 1 3/8. Okay, so this one's gonna go on the top. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some Tombow on that and stick it there. Now all these are gonna go on the sides quickly. Okay, 1, 2. See how quickly they come together once you have the idea. It's pretty fun to make. And last of all, there we go. There's our box lid. Make sure all our sides are down and secure. Let me turn that one a little bit. There we go, that's better. All right, now let me show you what happens here. Here is, where did we put it? Oh, no, oh, here it is. Here's the base that we just made along with the box bottom. And let's go ahead and put a little truffle in there. These I like the gold. These are the caramel ones. Now before I put the box on, I'm going to take a small circle punch, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. Okay, this is a 3/4 inch. And you'll notice here on the front and the back, I put a little notch using the circle punch. So the person has a little spot that they can put their fingers to pull the lid off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take oh, this isn't the right one. It's a smaller one. Okay. Okay, I found it. Little unplanned, but I found it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to punch out just a little notch there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Okay, now for the big finish, we're going to fold these up. And you're going to notice that these little flaps are going to fold together right against the side. Okay, so these are going to fold up right against the side. And then we're going to put our lid right on top. Oh my goodness. Is that cute or is that cute? All right, let's finish up very quickly. Okay, I'm going to use another one of the lovely die cuts from the Poppy set. And I'm going to just stick that right on to the top of my box. Okay. And now I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color. I stamped this Poppy using black Memento ink. And then I cut it out using the die. And now I'm going to take my blend. This is Poppy Parade. And I'm going to color in my Poppy. If you haven't tried these blends, they are wonderful. I love them because they're alcohol markers, so they don't show any strokes on the paper. You just have a nice, smooth color. You don't see any lines or anything from your coloring. Now I colored the entire thing using my light Poppy Parade. Now I'm going to come back with my dark Poppy Parade. Yeah, I hope it's a happy truffle. I know people have told me that's a lot of work for one little truffle, but I think it's great. I love it. You know how I love my 3D, Jean. All right, and then I'm going to take the darker one and kind of go in and out and around the inside. It makes it a little darker in there. See how I did that? It's just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go back with my lighter one and try to blend that out and together. So it kind of makes the flower a little darker in the center. And then as you go out to the edges, it's very light. So there, that's my Poppy. Very simple. I love this color. I just love the Poppy Parade color. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add him to the top of my box using a dimensional. So let's stick that dimensional on there. And we'll put him right on top. And our last and final thing, we're going to go ahead and take a small little strip of the Whisper White, and we're going to stamp on that "Thanks for being you." You don't need a sentiment for this box, but I found this one. This was in the Free as a Bird stamp set, but you could put "For you," "Happy birthday," whatever you like. I'm going to stamp that on there. And then I'm going to take one of my favorite punches, and I'm going to stick it right in there. Whoops, stay up there. And this makes a great little, see how it makes a little banner on the end? I love that. All right, just easier than trying to cut one. It makes it look much more clean. All right, last thing we're doing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this right on top of the edge of the poppy. Right there. And there it is, the final project. Now we've got 3 of them. This one's missing. Somebody must have eaten the truffle already. So those are all 4 of my truffle boxes. So thanks for joining me and hanging in with me for a little while longer today. I appreciate you, and we'll look for you again next week. Have a great week, ladies, and keep stamping. Bye-bye.